The SciComm Collective acknowledges the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians of the lands we study, write and record on, and their sovereignty was never ceded. Hello and welcome to the SciComm Collective.
Different useful knowledge in different areas.
The joy is sharing it, making science accessible, the ignored final step of the scientific method. Every different perspective.
Science is culture.
The SciComm Collective brings science and science communication to you.
Hi everyone, Claire here. In today's episode, I talk with Dr Phil Dooley, the current president of the Australian Science Communicators and science communicator under the Phil Up on Science brand. Phil has made all kinds of science communication content, from writing to video to science theatre shows. In our conversation, we cover everything from the perils of social media algorithms to how art about science needs to actually be good art in the first place. We start off talking about what kind of audience Phil's science theatre shows found.
So when you sing the songs and you're doing your outreach, you said you're not sure that it's reaching scientists. Who is your audience then?
Yeah, it's an interesting question and something that I agonise about because the audience that I'd like it to be is not necessarily who it ends up being. The audience I'd like it to be is kind of on the edges. You have this. I think of the audiences as a fried egg. So the yolk of the egg is the people who love science. Mm-hmm. And if you want a reference for this, Craig Cormick's The Science of Science Communication, I think it's called, is really good. The science fanboys and fangirls who just really love science and they're going to lap it up no matter what. And then the white of the fried egg is the people who are kind of, yeah, science is there. I think it's probably okay. I'm not sure. Haven't really got the time to think about it. Could be dodgy, not sure. And then outside of that, you've got the plate, right? And they're the people who are just like, no, not up for science at all. It's not trustworthy. And that's a tough conversation to have. And so, yeah, what I would like to be able to do is basically expand that fried egg or the yolk of the egg into the... So, reach those people who just don't really know a great deal about science and could connect with it if it was given to them in the right sort of setting, right context. In terms of what often happens is... the biggest form of marketing and promotion is word of mouth. So it seems to be friends of scientists, friends of people I know, except for one video that randomly went viral for like January 31, 2021 or somewhere around there. Suddenly it just started attracting views and it had been up for 5 or 6 years. And then after 6 months, it just stopped and flatlined again. It's like, that's really strange. And it was, I think, because somebody asked a question and somebody else answered the question. And once I had that interaction on YouTube, then the YouTube algorithm started pushing it a bit. You're so much at the mercy of the algorithm. So, yeah.
And they keep changing.
Yeah, I was watching Derek on Veritasium talking about algorithm anxiety.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy, so I just don't really interact with YouTube much anymore. Yeah. I put a lot of effort into it at various stages and got nowhere. So it's so hard to know whether it's your algorithm that's bad or whether it's your content.
Yeah, and people say it should be long-form content, and then others say it should be short-form content.
And then it changes from week to week, and
Yeah, I just saw a video about the Instagram algorithm and it's just changed again and I'm like, just got a handle on the last one.
What's your tip for our Instagram users? What is it now?
Just post consistently, same time every week. Don't know if that'll work. I guess I'll see.
What is your Instagram handle? Come on, hit us.
The one that I care about is Lavender Collective Productions, which is my production company.
Right.
That's the one that I care about people seeing.
Lavender Collective Productions.
You mentioned that you sort of had a theatre troupe that you were doing that. Sort of, what was that like when you joined it?
Yeah, as I said, it began from a conversation with my friends Michelle and Patrick. They're very much on board with science, really interested in it. And we started talking about trust in science as well. And yeah, that just kind of inspired them. And Michelle then wrote this play. And that was fun. But the thing that I have been doing for a long time with these pub nights as well is getting scientists on stage. So I knew I could get scientists on stage talking about their science. So we wove that into the narrative. So, you know, in the play, it's a kind of two-hander. Patrick is a human who goes to the doctor saying, "Oh, doc, I've lost my faith in science, help me." And I'm the doctor who's like, "Yeah, sure, let me take your blood pressure. Thanks, run along, that'll be all fine, thank you very much." Anyway, we end up, you know, going to a pub, and the waitress, it turns out, is a scientist who does GM, genetic modification, and she serves some GM chips. So we end up having a conversation with her about what that is, why would you do it, what are the benefits, what are the dangers, and then we go back to the story, and the doctor and Cy wander off. You know, later on they encounter a climate scientist, and they encounter, who was the other one, a vaccine scientist, an immunologist. So, and that was really fun. We took that to Adelaide Fringe, Sydney Fringe. We never did it in Melbourne. Open to offers, anybody. So then we took that even a bit further with the next production. We wanted to get scientists actually doing improv on stage. So that was fun. That was even funner. And then we tried to do another thing, which was kind of our characters interviewing scientists, and that was in the pandemic, and it was a hybrid event. Oh boy, it was so technically hard. Then we kind of pivoted back to making videos. And we always had a plan to get scientists into the videos, but it just never quite happened. We just ended up writing sketches amongst ourselves.
So you were really involving scientists in the creative aspect of it.
Yeah, we got to the stage of getting them actually involved in the writing process, but that was around the time that the partnership ended for, you know, sort of other reasons. So we never quite got any of that stuff out. Got close.
And how did the scientists sort of respond to this creative environment?
They seemed to have fun. Yeah, they really did seem to have fun. And I mean, the problem is, I guess, you know, if you're talking about some controversial, contested area, then you very rarely have a sensible conversation about it. And that was what ended up happening, was the scientist could have a conversation with this character, and he could say, "But really, should I be doing that? You know, isn't that going to, you know, endanger my kids or, you know, whatever?" And they could actually have a reasonable discussion about that. And also because they knew that was coming, I guess. The other thing that can be hard as a scientist is when you encounter these things, they're so gobsmackingly surprising that somebody wouldn't believe in that. You just go, "Oh, okay. Right, I don't know. Why would you think that?" That's just, okay, oh, God, okay. You know, and the conversation doesn't go very well. So we could kind of have these idealised conversations. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't think we got those people coming who we would want to reach and debate with. I don't think they came. And I think the reason was we had the name science in the title. It was called The Poet's Guide to Science. But generally had the word science, which meant that people were only coming to it if they were science lovers. Yeah. And then it was theatre as well, so only theatre lovers who were science lovers were coming. And instead of getting the in Venn diagram terms, the union of the sets, I think we only got the intersection. So it was very tricky to reach the audience we wanted.
Yeah, because we're doing a show on forensic science. Because it's a parody of the Magic School Bus. Ideally, we're going to get an audience who grew up with the Magic School Bus and care about nostalgia and won't realise that they're coming to learn about science. We thought that through when we did the show, because I wrote it. if other psychommers or other scientists want to reach out into the arts and use art to reach people, what would your advice be to them?
Use what you know and what you're good at. Because, okay, if you're trying to reach a non-scientist, it needs to be good art. Yeah. It needs to be art that will compete with existing art. So it not just bad art for the sake of science is not going to get you anywhere. It's going to amuse the other scientists who are going to go, oh, that's funny. You put quantum mechanics into a rap song. But if you're a shit rapper, then it's not worth doing, you know. So you have to have some skill in that area, in that craft. That's the main thing I would say. I mean, and try and work with professionals in the area and try and, I mean, the 4 years I was with Dramatis Scientific, were amazing. I learnt so many things I learnt the word trope, for example. And, you know, just setting up productions and the writing process and making dialogue work and stuff like that. I just, you know, so many things. Yeah, have that conversation, build that, and I'm a huge believer in collaboration as well. If you can get people to interact in a healthy and supportive and positive way, then the outcome is way bigger than the sum of the parts.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to talk to me about all things science and arts.
My pleasure. A passion that I want us all to dig into. Thank you and good night, listeners.
Thanks for listening. Find us online at thepsychomcollective.com. That's com with 2 M's. Questions or comments about today's episode? Get in touch on Instagram at The Psychom Collective. The Psychom Collective is supported by UWA's Grand Challenges Impact Grant.